From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 22. Today's show is brought to you by lynda.com, where you can instantly stream thousands of courses created by industry experts. For a 10-day free trial, visit lynda.com/connected. Igloo, an internet you'll actually like, and Squarespace. Start here, go anywhere. My name is Myke Hurley, and I am joined today by Mr. Federico Viticci. Hi, Federico.
Hello, Myke.
How you doing, Federico?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And Stephen Hackett, hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I considered just carrying on, like just never introducing you, but then I felt bad about it and changed my mind.
That'd be sad.
I just thought I would just see how far I could go, but
Why would you skip Steven?
just to see what he would do.
He's like your best friend in America. Why would you skip him?
Federico, why did you say in America? Do you want to be my best friend?
No, don't you have like that other guy in the UK that goes out drinking with you?
Yeah.
Like you buy stuff together after you've been drinking.
No, Matt lives here.
You two are my best friends. How about that?
Yeah, nice save, Myke.
I mean it though.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That got nice and weird.
So we have a lot of follow up.
Yeah, more follow up. Follow up. How can you do like half of an episode be follow up and then have as much follow up the next episode? How is that even possible?
It's been heavy. There's a lot of follow up in the air this time of year. And,
What happens when you do many episodes with a lot of follow up to each other, like a follow up combo? Do you get like a multiplier and you hit?
I think so.
Yeah. Like when you do like 5 episodes of follow up on top of each other, what happens? Like Skype explodes.
People stop listening.
Probably. Yes. Yes.
So FU number 1, Federico, is actually your piece of follow up about your image optimization workflow.
Oh yeah.
So why don't you tell people what's going on?
So I found this service that actually my web developer sent me a link to this service like last year. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to use a web service for image optimization. I can just use my Mac with Image Optim. And of course, things, changed. And so there's in the past few weeks, I've been struggling to come up with a workflow that involved Image Optim and my iPhone and my iPad. So I've started using this service called Kraken.io. It is an image optimization web service. So you send images over to the web, to some servers. You don't do the image optimization locally. Kraken optimizes the images for you. And I started using this for 2 reasons. One is the API that you can use with Python. And the second reason is the integration with Rackspace Cloud Files. Basically, what's really perfect for me is that I can use Dropshare on iOS. It's this app to upload files to the Rackspace CDN. And Dropshare, it's like you can use it directly from the Apple Photos app. So I can upload screenshots from Photos, from Pythonista, from Mail, from Messages, from any app that has a share sheet. And the Dropshare extension gives me a link to the image on Rackspace. Then when I have the link in the clipboard, I can just go to Pythonista and there's a script that talks to Kraken.io. It finds the Rackspace link in the clipboard, and without doing any I don't have to upload the actual file, because Kraken can look at the link that I give to the service, and starting from that link, it optimizes the image and it returns another Rackspace link with the optimized version, and it tells me usually how many kilobytes, but sometimes megabytes, basically my savings on the optimized image. I can choose from 2 different types of optimization, lossy and lossless, and basically it's perfect for me. I can still use Dropshare. Basically, Dropshare uploads my files to a Rackspace folder, which is only used to store the original untouched version of an image. And so there's no, I would say there's no major change in terms of how I upload my image from the Apple Photos app. The change is the Python script, which talks to Kraken. I'm happy about it because it runs in like 3 or 4 seconds, depending on the size of the image. It's really fast, and it gives me another Rackspace link, which I can use. I can put in my text editor. I can share over email or iMessage, whatever. It's really simple. I'm paying like $10 per month for 2 gigabytes of storage on Kraken. It's been working out very well so far. I'm saving good money on the Rackspace CDN costs, and yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I have a solution. At least I've stopped looking for apps or workflows. It's really simple. I mean, they have a script on the website. I just needed to copy and paste the script, and it worked right away. So yeah, I'm saving money, and there's no major loss in quality for the screenshots. So yeah, I'm done.
Cool.
Hooray.
Yeah.
So we have our show notes in 2 different browsers this week. This is my favorite string of follow-up ever because it just keeps happening. So TR4656 on Twitter showed connected on a 3DS browser, which it did something. It's sort of there. Do you guys use the browser on your Nintendo products? It seems like a bad idea.
No, but the new Nintendo 3DS, which is coming to places,
not America,
has well, it kind of is, has improved browser. Was one of the things they said today.
Good job.
Improved.
Well,
browser.
actually, I have a confession. Like last year, I set up a workflow that basically. So using the Wii U browser, this doesn't happen on the 3DS browser because it's not capable enough. I don't know if it's different on the new 3DS, but on the Wii U browser, you can upload files to websites. So I had a workflow that on my Mac Mini that was monitoring a Dropbox folder for screenshots, and that was the old workflow that I had. It would optimize the image using Image Optim on Mac Mini Colo, and it would upload to Rackspace, and it would give me a Rackspace link. And I figured out that I could use the Wii U browser to put screenshots in the Dropbox folder. So I saved the shortcut to that folder in the Wii U browser. You can give a star to a folder to a web page. So I gave a star to the web page, and every time I wanted to get a screenshot from my Wii U, I would put the file in the Dropbox using the Wii U browser, and then on my phone I would get the Rackspace link. I was really, really happy about that.
Wow, that's a Rube Goldberg machine, without a doubt.
But it worked, so.
Yeah, hey, I'm not here to judge. Jimmy, whose name we made fun of a couple weeks ago, Jimmy Basset, people said that was too fancy, has now loaded our show notes in AOL Explorer version 1.1.4234.1043. And
what is an AOL Explorer?
AOL had their own browser. I mean, they had their own application, and that application had a browser in it. I remember AOL for Mac used to be a big problem I dealt with at the Genius Bar because it would destroy people's computers, basically. But it's fine.
Oh god.
It's AOL. What can you do? So, hot on the heels of covering AOL Explorer, our next piece of follow-up in breaking technical news is more on the Hackintosh front. So Thomas Brand, we talked about Thomas last week and his Hackintosh setup. He's written a kind of a response piece to our bit of Connected on the topic, and he kind of has 3 reasons why he built a Hackintosh. The lower price than a Mac desktop, the choice of internal components and case designs. A lot of people, you guys mocked me for wanting to be connected to your hardware, but some people that is important to, and they want to know how like every single little bit works. And then just a love to tinker with computer hardware, which I think is a out of those 3 reasons a really solid one. Of some people just like to roll their sleeves up and play with things. And so Thomas wrote this up. You can go check it out on his website, eggfreckles.net. And we got an email as well from a guy named Phil who his 14-year-old son has tinkered and collected desktop computer parts and like built a Hackintosh out of this like quad core beige computer, which I think is really cool. Phil points out it's a great way for his son to learn about computers and how they work. He did say that even though he has Yosemite on it, that he's like, don't put it to sleep, because if you put it to sleep, apparently it explodes. But I think it's really great. Like, it's a great way for like kids and young people getting into computers to tinker with stuff. It's something that like our generation, and for this purpose, I'm going to lump me in with you guys. Our generation, we didn't really get that as much, and especially now, like kids growing up, like my kids are never going to open a computer. But
you can still open a MacBook
you just
Air.
like look at it,
Just if you want to destroy it.
Yeah. So I think it's great. I think it's a great way for someone like Phil's son to learn about how computers work. So it was a heartwarming story to me.
Yeah, really awesome story, and it makes me think of not just because it's called Phil, but just the scene in general. It reminds me of Modern Family. You guys watch the TV show?
Yep, I gave up on it.
There's a Phil, like I'm picturing Phil from Modern Family watching his son build a Hackintosh. It's quite amusing to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil, for the follow up.
Yes, I think it's great, and good luck to Phil's son Jack with his Hackintosh. Hope it doesn't burn your house down.
Did you say that he calls it his Jackintosh, which is awesome?
Yeah. So the kid's his son's name is Jack, and so he calls it the Jackintosh.
It's so cool.
Pretty funny. Myke.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Myke has a Macintosh.
I do have a Macintosh.
You have a new Macintosh.
Let's not talk about the new Macintosh for maybe another week.
Maybe another week. Myke, do you want to tell us about our awesome friends at Lynda?
I do indeed. It's time to kickstart your new year with a 10-day free trial to lynda.com. Lynda.com is used by millions of people around the world, and it has over 3,000 courses on topics like web development, photography, visual design, business. Maybe you want to learn software training, maybe you want to learn Excel, Photoshop. They have thousands of courses. They're adding new courses all of the time, and these are courses that are taught by experts. They're adding these new courses every week. This is stuff like iOS app development with Swift training, so they've got stuff in there. Maybe you want to learn a little bit about developing and distributing Android apps, if that's the type of thing that you're after. They've got that in there. Whether you want to set new financial goals, find a better work-life balance, or improve on your current job skills in 2015, lynda.com has something for you. When you sign up, you'll get unlimited access to every course on lynda.com, and you'll get to view these tutorials on tablets and mobile devices as well as your desktop, because they have great apps for iOS and Android. Once you're browsing around, you're going to find some incredible courses. These courses all look great as well, which is a big thing. They're made by, they're made by experts, but they're made in expert environments as well, with all professional gear and equipment. Maybe you want to get started in development. They have courses on the foundations of programming to help you get started. Maybe you want to learn, maybe you know Objective-C and you want to know a bit about, and you want to learn Swift. Well, they have courses that compare the two, so you can see how you can migrate your current C projects to Swift projects. Maybe you want to learn a bit about design as well. They have great courses on Illustrator and Photoshop that are taught by people that actually work at Adobe. Do something good for yourself in 2015 and sign up for a free 10-day trial to lynda.com by visiting lynda.com/connected. I challenge you to learn something new in 2015. Thank you so much to Lynda for their support of this show and for helping out at Relay FM.
What do you want to learn in 2015, Myke?
I want to learn how to effectively follow up on podcasts. I also want to just learn how to not break computers, because I'm really good at that.
You should also learn the proper times when to have lunch, I think.
Yes, Federico, I know. I had lunch at 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, of course, and you ate pasta, I bet, at 4 p.m.
No, I had a salad today.
Oh.
But the reason that I record at 4 p.m., the reason I eat lunch at 4 p.m. is because I record with you at lunchtime.
which is very early. I'm always shocked
Wait,
when it's
that
like
wasn't
on air
lunchtime?
virtual.
2:30 is not lunchtime for you, Mike.
Well, I was
Normal
watching,
people eat at 1 p.m.
Well, I was watching the Nintendo Direct before that.
I'm skeptical. Mike.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Salad Gate. So FU number 4.
FU number
listen-
4.
I'm not number 1 anymore. Alan wrote in to talk about the rumored 12-inch MacBook Air, and his email basically boiled down to his thoughts on, like, if this machine is real, then Apple's going to use it as a springboard to launch more and higher quality cloud services, like to support the hardware. So like someone was talking about, there's no like place to put a USB key in here if it's charging or if you're using your keyboard, and we were talking about how, well, maybe like iCloud can supersede the need for USB jump drives, which is ridiculous. And like, that's great, but I have a couple problems with it. Like, yes, things like media or, more in the cloud, we've talked about, obviously, about photo management, but even like with Myke and I, us running Relay, like it's all in Google Drive or Evernote. Like there's not a single Word document about Relay that's like sitting on my desktop. It's all in the cloud. But that said, a lot of cloud stuff still has local copies. Like photos.app, when it shows up for the Mac, will have the ability to download all or some subset of your photos locally. iTunes is in the cloud, iTunes Match. Again, this is about things that are available in the cloud, but I could pull down to my local disk because I don't always have internet access. And I don't think 2015 is going to be the year where Apple like blows that out of the water. iCloud is more or less what it has been since launch. And yes, I do think it's time for them to, address some things there. But I don't think that we're moving in. I don't think this machine is moving us into the world of everything being in the cloud. It's still OS 10. It's not something like Chrome OS. And
That's what you
I
think.
Yeah, if it runs Chrome OS, I will eat this microphone.
Safari OS.
It would just crash randomly and be transparent for no reason.
It would have all things centered in the middle, like the bookmarks bar that Steven loves.
God, I really dislike Safari and Yosemite. I just hate Chrome more.
What's to hate about Chrome?
Lots of things. Mostly that it destroys your battery life.
The company?
Yeah. Did you say the company?
No,
What's hate about Chrome?
I was kidding.
Google.
I was kidding, Mike. Mike, don't hate me, Mike, please.
Yeah. You got to undo that Google tattoo.
I will eat lunch at 4 p.m. with you, Mike. Don't hate me.
So like, sentences like media is in the cloud aside, I still think that cloud-focused computing still has two big problems. One, I think that it has significant issues for a lot of people with bandwidth. I mean, even the three of us, like just doing Skype, we run into bandwidth issues, albeit mostly on y'all's end, but sometimes on my end, like very often. Like how many, like I'm sure at least one of us is using LTE right now because your bandwidth is not sufficient enough. That's ridiculous. And to have like all of my media and everything on the cloud because I don't have a USB port anymore, but my bandwidth isn't very good. Like Apple likes to push the bar forward with their hardware, but that's really far. That's a big ask of people. So I don't think that Alan's dream of 2015 being the year of iCloud, really becoming robust is not. I just don't see that happening. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for iCloud to get better, but it's a slow process. And while this machine might be a vision of the future from Cupertino, very often, like we talked about, that future, it comes too soon and with too many compromises in the real world. So I don't know.
Well,
what do you guys think?
I have to say that I told you guys, I'm using iCloud Photo Library, and it's fine. It works. Like every time I'm surprised when I get home and like I pick up my iPad and I find all the photos and screenshots that I took on my phone already there. Also because this year I think I have decent Wi-Fi at home, but that's a different discussion. Like it works. Like it puts all my photos on my iPhone, my iPad. It's the same set of screenshots. I didn't get major problems. And now I know I will get all the replies in the chat room and on Twitter of people showing me strange errors. I get that. I know that it's problematic. It's just for my example, iCloud photos have been working fine. Now, I don't trust iCloud with my files or my work mail. Or I use iCloud for calendars, which is also fine. I used to be an iCloud reminders user until a few months ago. I don't use other new parts of iCloud, like iCloud Drive. But for my experience, iCloud has been getting better. And in general, I think the web services of Apple have been getting better. John Gruber yesterday had a post about Siri getting better and faster, and that's also been my experience for the Italian Siri. At least the responses they come in much faster than before. And now I don't know if it's like, are we ready for an iCloud OS or a Safari OS? I don't think we are. I still don't get the idea of Chromebooks, or like using a computer that doesn't have local stuff. It doesn't make much sense to me, especially because when you say when you don't have an internet connection, it's going to be a problem. So I think Chromebooks can work like in the Silicon Valley and other parts of the world where they can enjoy a reliable and fast internet connection.
You're going to get follow-up about this, so I'll just tell you. Chrome OS can store information locally now.
Oh, it can?
Yeah.
So they changed it. What kind of information can you store?
Depends what type of thing. It's up to the web app. So, like, for example, Google Docs, you can write in Google Docs and stuff. Like, you can do all of that locally. So you don't have to be connected to the internet to use Google Docs. I mean, it depends on what the apps can use, but there are frameworks to do it. Like, there is a local storage, and the Chromebooks now actually come with some hard drive space to do that kind of thing.
So can you use a Chromebook to like download photos and put them on a USB drive?
I'm going to say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say yeah.
Just going to say yeah. Just say yes.
I don't know. I can picture my parents using a Chromebook. But maybe it's just me. I'm just and not necessarily because of my dislike for some things that Google does. It's just that the idea sounds strange to me. I don't know. And iCloud seems to be getting better. Now, I know that every year is the year of iCloud getting better. It's like Linux on the desktop.
Wow. I don't think it's like that. My thing, like, as you were talking about, yeah, like I'll put my photos in iCloud, but not my documents. Like, for me at least, like my photos are the most precious files I have. And so I trust them to Dropbox, but also trust them to my ever like increasingly complicated backup strategy. And even like just earlier, like I think last week, I wrote this thing about iTunes Match, which I've used successfully for a long time, and it totally bit the dust for me and had to go in and like reset it. And it's as annoying as it was to have metadata mixed up on music all of a sudden, and that propagated across all my devices because iTunes Match was just syncing things away. That's really problematic if that were to happen in iCloud Photos. So I don't trust Apple or their iCloud service to handle my photos yet because they can't handle basic things. Like photo management is, to me at least, one of the most personal things my computers do. And I don't, like, Apple has not proven to me that iCloud can be reliable to deal with simple things like Word documents that 3 people edit on a weekly basis, let alone thousands of photos.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare music management to photo management.
I think it's exactly the same thing. It's keeping data in sync between the cloud and local computers, and they can't do it.
Those are different things. I'm telling you that it works.
And it might work only because there's 15 people using it, and it's only on the browser and iOS. Like when the Mac app shows up, like that is going to make it increasingly more complicated. And I just don't trust them yet.
I think there is a difference between iTunes Match and iCloud though, because
like
iTunes Match isn't actually taking your music and storing it for a
Yes,
lot.
they are. Yes, they
not
are.
completely, no. Because a lot of it's coming from the store. Like, you're not
Yeah, but
actually
anything-
uploading
yeah.
your music. I mean, I know there is an element of that, but the majority of your music is going to be delivered to you via the store. It's like it feels like a different mechanism, or at
But
least it would be stored in a different place.
But like, but it's still like the same people, the same company built iTunes Match that is building photos in the cloud. Like, it's the same.
But I bet it's different.
It might not.
teams
Yes,
using
yes.
different
Technically, it's not the
infrastructure.
same. But it's the same poor management of it. Like, it shouldn't matter what the infrastructure is if Apple knew what they were doing in the cloud space, and clearly they're behind. And you know what? Like, my iTunes Match problem, to be fair to iTunes Match, started with a local problem, and it synced, like, it propagated that problem across my devices. And my big complaint in my article was
You put a
that-
virus into iTunes Match.
yeah,
That's your
My,
fault, Steven. Come on, you're saying
Yeah.
that iCloud is bad. God knows what kind of file you put
my
into
complaint
iTunes
though,
Match.
my complaint though is that, and this is not going to be any different. It's not any different now in the Photos beta. Of like, there's no place for me to go in my iCloud account and hit a reset button. There's no way to like see actually what's happening or what is going on, because it's all behind the curtain. Like, for me to reset my iTunes Match library, I had to create a new local iTunes library and sync it up with iTunes Match and basically force override what iCloud had. Like, and nowhere does Apple tell you how to do that. I thought about it in the shower. I was like, oh, I'll just make a new iTunes library and resync it. Like, normal people are not going to do that when their photos get blown up. Like,
But it's not that much different from Dropbox. There's no reset feature on Dropbox.
But
just
Dropbox, your files are stored locally in Finder, and so you can back them up. Currently, according to our conversation last week, your photos on iCloud do not exist on your local computer. They're just on the web. That just seems scary to me. So we can move on. Let's get back to the 12-inch MacBook Air. Can we do that? Let's do that.
So you decided just to move on to the.
I did. I'm deciding just to move on. It seems
Okay.
like this machine is happening really quickly. Like, there's rumors that it's already ramping up production. I did not expect it to be this fast. I mean, it seems like it's soon, right? It'd be crazy.
Well,
if you believe the rumors.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, this whole conversation is predicated on a machine that doesn't actually exist yet. But
Yeah, and I feel like many people are, sharing these theories on this computer. No, it's going to be the future of the Mac. No, it's going to be the end of the Mac as we know it. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And nobody actually knows what's going to happen. And people are theorizing and writing articles on pricing and stuff. They don't know anything about this thing, which is kind of dumb to me, just to spend this much time on something that maybe in 2 months is going to be wrong or completely different. Like, it doesn't seem worth it, except maybe if your business model is based on page views and that kind of stuff, then it kind of makes sense. I just think it's boring to say, yeah, it is going to be this price point or it's going to be this other kind of price point, and you actually don't know. Like, there's speculation and speculation. Like, you can say with a reasonable amount of doubt that the iPhone 6 was going to be a bigger phone. But this kind of computer, which is, according to the rumor, like completely different. Just how long can you speculate? I don't know.
Until it comes out, which could be like in 4 years' time.
Well, you don't know. It just seems to me that everybody's saying a different thing, and like, who am I to like? I don't know who's to be trusted here. What I gotta believe? I don't know.
I mean, I think part of this is that it's fun to talk about the future of the Mac, and I think your page view comment is harsh. That's very few people actually work on that business model, at least in our circle. But
very few people.
I can
Are you
name
sure?
some.
In tech
I'm not-
blogs, in tech blogs, very few people.
Tech blogs that I care about, very few. But what I think it's interesting. I think it is a conversation point because it is so different from where we are today. Because it's, I mean, like, clearly, like we talked about, like one USB port and a headphone jack is crazy pants. And so that's interesting to think about what that could be. I mean, we did it last week on the show. But I think what's interesting is that, like, if this were to be, on sale in Q1, we're going to have the watch in Q1. Like, this is not shaping up to be, like what's been like the last 2 or 3 years, there's been nothing from Apple until the summer. And it's like, They have WWDC and 2 fall events, and that's it. I mean, you go back on this show even 2 years, and it's like we have nothing to talk about in the spring. So I, for one, am excited that Apple's spreading things out a little bit, at least like announcement-wise, to bring some stuff out in the spring seems like a good move. You know, I think iPhones and iPads will always be new for the holiday, but to see some other stuff get spread out across the calendar is a little bit better, I think, than dropping it all at once.
Can I go back to the Chromebook for a moment?
Sure.
A couple of weeks ago, you told me, for a reason that I don't understand, that you wanted to buy a Chromebook. So people have this like notion of me that I'm the one that buys things.
Yeah,
right.
It's true. I bought something that I can't share with you guys yet. It's going to be a surprise.
So
I do have a Chromebook sitting on my desk. This is where this is going. It's fine.
So I said, so you were like, "I'll buy it." He was like, "I want to buy it." I was like, "Well, only buy it if you're going to do something with it." So my challenge to you was that buy it, but use it for a week, only that device.
Yeah, so that is impossible. But my plan is, and it got here like a week ago, and I haven't done anything with it. The plan is to do like all relay business on it. Like I can't like make an experiment out of my day job, but I can this job. So I'm gonna get it set up, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to use Chrome OS for a week. Federico was disappointed in me.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Wow. Wow. We should move to something happier. Do we want to do something happier than follow-up 5? It really should have been the last follow-up, but it's not. It's the next to last follow-up. Is quite possibly, I don't know about you guys, but the most exciting follow-up we've gotten in a long time. This includes like the app that was built out of a joke on the podcast. But we have our own comic strip. We are in a comic strip, guys. We've made it.
I was very, very happy to see this exist. Like, there's just so much fun in this. So the comic strip is basically, it seems to be part 1, where effectively the 3 of us are drawn together to become a mega Apple machine.
Through Skype? Is that where the magic happens? I feel like it is.
Yeah, something
We're getting
like
sucked
that.
into our computers.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Skype doesn't even work. How can it do magic?
If it did work, then this is what it would do.
I like how Steven is on his bed, probably because he's resting.
Yeah, and I have like a flower on my shelf. Like you see that like in nursing homes. My favorite one though.
That's it. You're really old.
Yeah, it is. But Federico's in the bathroom and he has a shower iPad.
I didn't understand. What's this shower iPad? Is it like an iPad that I keep in the shower?
Exactly, because you have so many iPads.
No, I have one.
No, but that's the idea, right? You're so iOS
okay.
that you have the iPad in the shower. You know, it's like the day iPad and the night iPad.
But it seems really impractical to me to keep an iPad at the bottom of the shower. Like I would at least create some sort of shelving space to use the
I'll
iPad
move my
while I'm
flower
standing.
over. You can store it there.
So this was created by Steve B, who is now the world's greatest friend of the show. My favorite part of this whole comic is when it's like the 3 of us like transforming, and it's like with Steven's Mac skills, with Federico's iOS skills, and Myke. I read that and I just started screaming with laughter.
Oh, because you had no skills.
I have no skills.
That's harsh.
You just being Myke is your skill.
Yeah,
Right.
it's difficult to be me and to keep this up, but I think that I do it pretty well.
I have to say, something about the Myke character really looks just like you.
He did a really, really good job.
Out of the 3 of us, you look most like your character.
Yeah, well, it's because I have a very like, I have a simple face to draw in a cartoon. I think you should put glasses and a beard. You know?
I think you have a simple face in general.
I don't know how to take that.
Sweet, I have an Italian accent. Every time I read this, I find something else hilarious about it. Oh man. So that's in the show notes. Myke,
Yeah.
I love how you're on a bed, Steven, with a flower.
Come on.
I think it's because like you used to record from a bedroom, and you used to record from your daughter's bedroom though. So like
I did.
it's a deep cut.
Why does Myke have a fancy desk like an office manager? And me and Steven were in a bathroom, and Steven is on a bed.
Because I do have a fancy desk like an office manager. I have a glass desk here, boy. This is big business here we got running.
Yeah. It's so good. Myke, where are the show notes this week?
Same place they are every week. No, they're different
No.
this week. It's relay.fm/connected/22. Last week was 21, and the week before that was 20, and next week will be 23.
Wow. Our CMS is so logical.
Well,
So yeah,
So-
check out the Connected comic book.
in the end, now we can come to the end. We can close the book on the burst photo to GIF.
It
follow-up.
only took 40 minutes, but yeah.
No, I mean like we can close the book on this long-running piece of follow-up that I have wanted something like this. Now, this was an app that Federico first told me about. It's called Burstio, but I couldn't download it because when I was trying to download it was when Apple screwed something else up a couple of weeks ago, where they changed the App Store pricing in the EU, and for 24 hours nobody could download anything on the App Store. Like it didn't get a lot of coverage because it wasn't in America, so it was just an EU problem. But all EU developers were really upset, as they should be, because they changed the prices. They got all the prices wrong. And apps were like, in some cases, 40% more expensive than they should have been, was what they were showing on the store, but nobody could buy them anyway. So I tried to get it and it didn't work. But then we had listener Alex wrote in to remind me about this the other day. They sent through a tweet to tell me, have you found out about this? And the app is called Burstio.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried the app, Myke?
Yeah. I have, and it works perfectly fine.
Yeah, it does what you wanted.
Yeah, it takes burst photos and turns them into a GIF or a movie.
Yeah, I tried the app yesterday when I brewed some coffee. I took a burst photo, what is called a photo session, whatever, and I used the app to generate a GIF. The only thing I didn't like is that, like, it was surprisingly difficult to save a GIF locally to my photo library, because I could share the GIF from the app with the official tweet sheet, but I wasn't sure that the tweet sheet would pick up the GIF as a GIF file. So there was no save image option in the share sheet of the app. So I needed to email the GIF to myself and to save it back from the Apple Mail app just to make sure, because I wanted to use the Twitter app to make sure that I would actually share an animated GIF. This is probably a case of me overthinking stuff.
No, I mean, iOS doesn't do a very good job with GIFs. Like I always find that it does like the right thing, but in the wrong way. Like you can copy a GIF, but under certain circumstances, it doesn't copy it. It just copies the first frame.
Yeah,
save them to the camera roll, but it's weird. Like it. Overall, support seems a little janky for GIFs in iOS.
Yeah, that was what my problem. It was just saving the first frame, and I was really upset.
Yeah.
I even created a workflow on the spot, but it didn't work. So I was really, really unhappy.
Yeah, I think I didn't come across that because I just sent it as a message. I didn't even think to try and save it to the camera roll. But yeah,
you send GIFs as private messages to people,
like iMessages, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What kind of GIFs? Tell us. Private GIFs.
Private GIFs, you understand private GIFs, right? Just private.
I do. I understand. Yeah. Sure.
President of special GIFs.
This week's episode of Connected is also brought to you by our friends over at Igloo. They are the intranet you will actually like. Igloo's intranet works on any device, any mobile device, it's going to work on your tablet. It's going to work on your iPad, whether you have a small iPad or a big iPad, no matter what kind of iPad you have. This is because Igloo's intranet platform, their entire platform, is built with responsive design and web standards in mind. So you can do anything from reading a document to sharing a photo of your lunch to administrative tasks like managing your settings. Igloo's document preview engine as well is also fully HTML5 compatible. So if your teammate uploads an Excel file or a JavaScript file or a Word file, you can read it on your device without ever having to download the content or use a native app to do so. It not only saves you storage, but it also makes sure that everyone on your team is working on and viewing the same version of a document. You're not going to get like Bob and he downloads it and then he does his thing and then Mary's doing her thing. Like everybody's looking at the same document because it's all right there. It's all in the preview engine, the document preview engine. It's really cool stuff. Even Igloo's new task management system has been designed with speed and ease in mind for use on your phone. You can quickly create a task in just a few taps and manage your task list from wherever you are, whether you're in the office, whether you're on the road, whether you're on a train, whether you're in Italy. It doesn't matter where you are because you're going to be able to get to Igloo's great platform from your devices. Igloo's platform is totally customizable. When you design your Igloo to look like your company's brand, it uses all the colors that you want, it uses the logo that you want. This design carries right over to any device. So you make a change in a desktop, it shows up on the mobile, shows up on the iPad instantly. This is a fast and fantastic way to create, share, and manage your work from wherever you choose to work. If you've ever used any type of intranet product like SharePoint, you're going to know just how awesome Igloo's platform is because it just blows all of them out of the water with functionality like this. Igloo is free to use with up to 10 people, and you can sign up right now at igloosoftware.com/connected. Thank you so much to Igloo for supporting this show and all of Relay FM.
Topic 0?
Yeah.
Topic 0. So breaking today, so by the time you hear this could all be outdated, I guess. Good way to sell the topic, right? Reuters is reporting that Samsung wants to buy Blackberry. There's a whole bunch of show notes and links in the show notes and whatnot, as you might expect. And I at least don't really care about the details of the transaction. In fact, there's some people tweeting like right now that Blackberry says it's not true, but they can't comment kind of in the same breath. But I think it's interesting to think about why someone would want to buy Blackberry. Again, if this is true and people are saying in the chat room that it's not, but say that it's true, like what does Blackberry have to offer?
Let's turn this from a news story into a hypothetical conversation.
It happened as I was saying it.
It's very simple. Like, I don't think this is crazy. I think that buying Blackberry is a genius move because Blackberry is already installed into so many large businesses. It's purely a case of you buy Blackberry, you get the enterprise. Job done. Like, if that's a play you want to make, BlackBerry is a great buy.
People are really still using BlackBerry in enterprise.
Of course they are, man.
Because I thought that was like a myth,
No.
like a story.
Massive companies, huge companies, financial companies, law firms, everyone's using BlackBerry because
are they happy with BlackBerry?
Of course they are, because that's what they know. But they've had it for so long and it's so entrenched in the business. For as long as BlackBerry is around, they will continue to be used.
That's really sad. I think.
Yeah.
Like they're using it because they have to.
Yeah. Yeah, but
sad.
Federico, I'm afraid in corporate culture, that's how everything is. You use it because it's what you're told to use, like Windows.
Wow, that's why I don't work for other people. Yeah, makes sense, I guess, for that reason.
So Samsung, if you haven't decided to buy BlackBerry, you should buy BlackBerry. That's my advice.
And then what are they gonna do with once they have BlackBerry in the enterprise? Do they make Samsung phones running BlackBerry OS?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Like, I get it that it can be a good thing, but what's after the acquisition?
Well, Samsung has tried to already make an enterprise play with their product that's called Knox, which is like a suite of services and solutions and security stuff. And I don't really think it's taken off. But I'm sure that it's a place that they have their eye on, but they haven't been able to crack in because BlackBerry's already there. So they should buy them, I think. That's what I'm going to say.
That's the first time that I hear of this name.
Knox.
Samsung's Knox.
Yeah, it's Knox.
Is it like the app from the 1Password guys?
Well,
They have an app called Knox for Mac.
no, I actually think that that's an integration with Samsung.
No,
No?
I don't think it is.
Really?
No, it's
Okay.
not. It predates the Samsung stuff by a long
Well,
time.
I can't help you with that then, I'm afraid.
So I mean,
Did you use the
seems-
BlackBerry, Myke?
Hmm?
In your previous job? Did you use a
Of
BlackBerry?
course I did.
Really?
Yeah.
So they still exist, like for real.
You're trolling me
Like,
so hard, but it
No,
frustrates
I swear
me
I'm not.
because
I swear
this is
I'm
the
not,
thing.
Mike.
Like, I know that Federico, that you've never had to have a corporate job, so you don't know the horrors. But yeah, I did, and everyone does. This is what I'm saying. BlackBerry is still a huge deal. Like, we just don't pay any attention to it because it's not. They're not doing anything exciting.
Don't think I've ever seen a real BlackBerry in my entire life. Like somebody using a BlackBerry.
Even when you were a teenager, like because
No,
when I was a
never.
teenager, everybody had BlackBerry because it was
No,
BBM.
we had Nokia phones.
Yeah, I
And
guess
then
that.
the iPhone.
Yeah, this is before iPhone though. I mean, it was Nokia and BlackBerry. That's what everybody had here. You either had one or the other, and a lot of teenagers had BlackBerries because of BlackBerry Messenger.
I swear I'm not trolling, Mike. I'm just struggling to understand because I read of all of this golden age of BlackBerry and BBM and that kind of stuff. And in my personal experience here, I never had friends talking about this magic called BBM or BlackBerries. It was like I saw them in the movies, and that was it.
Yeah, because I mean, BlackBerry's consumer days are like over, but their enterprise days are far from. I think. I mean, there is the idea of like the bring your own device stuff, which you've spoken about before, but in big companies, these big organizations, it takes a lot to push that wheel around. So BlackBerry is going to be around for a while. Like BlackBerry has to fail as a company. Like they have to like just crumble, and once that happens, then hands are forced. Until that point, like as long as they continue to live, then a lot of companies will continue to use them for a long time.
I understand, Mike. Thank you.
I know I agree with you. Like we don't see it, right? Because nobody talks about
No,
it
never.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time people are joking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's easy to think that they don't kind of exist. Like it's like Microsoft, right? You know, like people have always said like Microsoft is irrelevant, Microsoft's failing, but they still make a gajillion dollars.
Yeah,
you know?
that one I get because I know people who use Office and all the other like the Xbox and other Microsoft stuff. Just BlackBerry, I struggled, and probably also because I never had any sort of contact with enterprise kind of work. So it's really difficult for me because it's really not me, It's like the opposite of me. So
you are like the opposite of BlackBerry.
I am. I think I should be happy about that. But yeah.
Let's talk about some less real news, or like there's just no real news today. An Apple Watch app. So this has come out in 8.2. There was originally you could see that there was in the settings there was like hooks into an Apple Watch app in the 8.2 beta. Again, 9 to 5 grabbed this, and then they also grabbed, with the help of Steve Troughton-Smith, screens of what the actual functionality of the app would be. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, everything in here is kind of what you'd expect. You've got the functionality to create your own layout, so you can on the phone organize the layout of how your watch apps will be presented in that crazy grid that they've got, which probably would be way easier to do on the phone than to try and do it on the watch. I'm just going to say. You've got like different functions, so how you want to choose to have your time displayed, how you want to see push notifications, that it can give you a little red badge that can appear on the watch face. Apparently there's support for a monogram, which is quite nice, so you can have a little stamp of up to 1 to 4 letters on the watch face. You can choose how, if you want to have voiceover enabled for some apps, and there's some accessibility options, and a passcode, which I can't fully understand. I assume that it's like to see any information, right? I can't imagine like you see the time and it's like before you can see the time, enter this 6-digit passcode.
Yeah, I bet it's after the time, or past under the time. I guess under the time, because It's very confusing. I don't know what dimension the watch is in.
You need to see one of those Johnny Ive exploded layouts of all of the UI
Exactly.
elements, like and where
Exactly.
I'm already imagining Casey using emoji as a monogram on the Apple Watch lock screen.
Yeah,
he totally would do that. Casey's going to go crazy with those those animated emoji. It's going to be like a whole different world for him.
Yeah, they're super creepy looking, right? Like the hands.
Yes.
I rewatched some of that stuff, and it's like that. What? Why is a hand moving around?
I kind of don't like that you have to poke the guy in the face to create the
It reminds me of the in Mario 64, like the floating Mario head, and you could grab his nose and drag it out.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my god, Stephen.
Yeah,
are you okay?
Awesome
right?
reference, man.
Video game reference.
Wow.
Stamp that. The chat room points out that it's a PIN number for Apple Pay as well. So, there's that.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, really, I think what's interesting here, even though it's not necessarily like shocking, is that there's going to be a helper app on the watch where you manage a bunch of this stuff. And again, that's like the Pebble. It has that where you can load in watch faces and apps, and you can do various things. But Myke, we sent a question to you earlier this week of how does Android Wear work? Does it have a standalone app? Is this pretty common with smartwatches, or is this something that just Apple and Pebble are doing?
So I have unearthed my LG G Watch from the depths of the gadget drawer and charged it up this week so I could bring you this late breaking news. I do have a couple of very quick sidebars before I talk about the companion app. Android is very pretty now. Like the L stuff is very attractive to look at. I like it a lot. I want to play around a little bit more with it because it is a very attractive operating system. I think it's to my tastes anyway. I like a lot of the animations that it has. It all works very smoothly and it looks very nice. And I just think that Android right now is looking pretty good. There's also now a lot more apps for the Android Wear in the store than there were the last time that I checked, as well as customizable watch faces now. Like, for example, there is a Pac-Man watch face, Federico, that you can have.
Pac-Man? Is it an official one or made by some guys?
Official Namco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There's loads of different ones. There are a lot of.
Did you download it?
I haven't yet.
Myke?
I haven't, but I will actually. A lot of the watch faces and stuff are made for the circular. I mean, they work on the square, but like all the promotional images are for the circular watches because the circular watches look better than the square watches.
So, can I ask you a question real quickly, Myke?
Yeah, man.
Can you? This is gonna sound stupid because I cannot remember. Can you use an Android Wear device with an iPhone?
No, you can't. No.
Okay.
I can see why you'd ask that question because, like Pebble, but no, Android Wear only works with Android devices.
Okay.
So let me talk about the companion app. So you download the app from the App Store, from the Google Play Store, and that is the app that allows you to connect the watch to your phone. And then it pulls in some information, so it knows that I have an LG G Watch, and it shows me a little promotional banner for some reason that I don't understand, but that's there. So this is where I guess kind of the customization and the beauty of Android can be of a benefit. So, for example, on the main screen, you have a couple of things. You have watch faces, which I explained. You can choose from the watch faces that are pre-installed on the device. You can also change them on the device, but you can choose them on the companion app, or you can download more. But then you have a heading called Voice Actions, and then a list of different things. So you've got Agenda, Navigate, Play Music, Set a Timer, and these are all of the voice commands that you can give to the Android Wear device. But what you can then do is, for example, you can select like play music, and then it will say, what do you want to happen when you say play music? Do you want to open Spotify? Do you want to open Google Play? Do you want to open audio? So you can choose from the apps that you have installed. So when you say that stuff, what will it allow you to do? Right, which is a very Android feeling. Like even things like Navigate, which would be to open Google Maps. You can choose if you want to open Google Maps or another map app. So you can go in and like even things like start stopwatch. Do you want to open the official stopwatch app, or do you want to use a downloaded stopwatch app? So that's quite cool because you can go in and you can kind of customize those voice actions to be your own. I would expect there might be, if I get any of that with the Apple Watch, I would be surprised. If I say like open the calendar, they're just going to open the calendar, right? I'm not going to be able to open Fantastical with that. I'd be very surprised if I was able to. You can also get some granular notification stuff. So you're able to go in and you can go into the settings and block app notifications. So you can go in here and select which apps do you not want to notify you. Now, so you press the plus button and it brings up all of the applications that you have and you can choose it. However, in this list, I have things like Android Work Assistant. I have Captive Portal Logon, Certificate Installer, Config Updater. Like, these are options. Like, this is the problem with Android. Like, what does this mean and why am I seeing it? Like, I shouldn't be able to block the Config Updater. And if I should, don't call it that. Like, give it a...
What's a config update?
I assume it's updating the config. I don't know.
Wow, thank you.
Like, it's just like
that's not what you want.
Also, if
everybody knows you gotta update the config, man.
Just in case as well, the Google Hindi input keyboard might notify me of something. I can also block that from doing that too.
That's good. I really like Basic Daydreams as an option that you listed.
Yep, Basic Daydreams. I can block Basic Daydreams.
That'd probably be good. That'd be good for me in real life. Like, nope, not allowed.
It's just like, seriously, Google, you're just so close.
But so far.
And they also have a watch battery screen as well, so you can see what is taking the battery. Like, you get like the usage stuff on Android phones and on.
But that's going to be fundamentally different on the watch because the watch is not really running very much.
Exactly. So you get to see
not,
what is.
Not that Apple would expose that, but it's not like if your watch wears down by 3 p.m., you can't go in there and say that it's this thing or that thing. I guess you can do that on iOS 8 now, but it's not super helpful like it is. Like Android's is pretty great.
Yeah, it has graphs and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And it also can give you a breakdown of what is stored on your watch as well. So on the internal memory of the watch, what is there as well. So you can also do things like, the Android Wear platform and some other stuff. So you can have it so if you're close to your phone, that you don't need to use your unlock code. If you want to, you can set that up. And you can also have it so if they're close to each other, and this uses Bluetooth, of course, to not even show any notifications on the phone at all. Only show them on the watch. So there you go. So that's some stuff.
Can I ask you a serious question without trolling?
Yes.
I'm serious.
Please ask me.
Okay. Would you consider switching to Android?
Yeah. I did it before. I would, and I'll do it again. No, it's just the apps. Like, so some of the apps that I have on my iPhone prevent me from switching to Android because there are things about Android that I genuinely like and have liked. And when I use it, and it's just like, if you want to get this thing to this app, right? So you're in the Photos app and you want to post it to another app. It's so much easier to do than it is still on the iPhone because all of these apps just talk to each other. I don't know how it's done, but they all just seem to be able to do that. So that there are a lot of things that I do really like about it, but there are like apps like OmniFocus, because even the Twitter app is not so much of a problem anymore. There's an app that I always loved called Falcon Pro, and they've just
I saw the Falcon 3.
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Falcon
nice. Pro is a great app anyway, but Falcon Pro 3 looks just superb.
Yeah, I saw the video. It looked really nice.
So I'm going to put some images in the show notes to kind of show you some. I took some screenshots. So if you want to see Active Daydream, you can see that for yourself as well. So they're all there for you to peruse if you would like to. Do you have any other questions, guys?
I was gonna say I agree with you that Android is pretty. Like they've come a long way on the design front, and I, like you, when sometimes I think about using Android for a while, it's the apps that trip me up, and it's not that apps on Android haven't gotten good. A lot of them have. There's a lot of really great apps on Android these days, but it's just the ones that I want to use have a tendency to be iOS and Mac only. So, things like OmniFocus or Overcast or things like that. Like, yes, there are alternatives, and many times the alternatives are really good on Android, but I like where I am and don't want to move everything out of OmniFocus to Todoist just to use Android for 6 weeks.
Yep, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch to Android, guys.
Man,
breaking news.
I do. Since that episode where you said about if editorial moved, like I've more than once considered like how much money would I have to pay Ole, to get him to move it, just to see what you would actually do.
Wow. Would you really do that?
No, because it'd be more money than I'd be prepared to spend. Although now I think, in hindsight, that I should have just got him to play a prank on you. I should have done that instead.
Wow. Why do you want to do this to me?
I just feel like I need to.
Why do you take satisfaction into seeing me suffer?
I just wanted to. I just want to check. I just want to see. I want to see to what ends you will go for the app that you love so much.
No, you have no idea. I mean, I gotta pay my rent, Myke.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out how much it will cost.
Is that how development works?
Yeah, how much will it cost? That's my understanding.
Just go to the guy and say, "Yeah, I want to buy your app. I'm a VC. I want to acquire your app."
That's all it takes.
You can make it the official Relay FM taxator.
I would love a Relay FM
for show notes. Just workflows for show notes.
That would be
done.
Great.
Done.
So, guys, do I have time for a mini topic, micro topic?
You most definitely do. Just after I thank our friends over at Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website, portfolio, and online store. For a free trial and 10% off, visit squarespace.com and enter the offer code WORLD at checkout. Squarespace has fantastic, clean, beautiful designs that allow you to craft a home for yourself online. And this has totally been redesigned and refined with Squarespace 7. Squarespace do everything that you need to allow you to build a powerful website whilst taking away all the stuff that you don't want to have to deal with. Squarespace 7 features more stunning templates than before. There are 15 new ones in total. They all feature responsive web design built right in, so they're going to look fantastic on all your devices. I've partnered with Getty Images now as well to provide you with a great deal on awesome photography at just $10 an image. And these new features, along with many others, like their totally redefined and rethought way of building their pages, their WYSIWYG page building system has come on leaps and bounds. It's even better than ever. All of this is built on top of Squarespace's core great platform that they've had for years, like their 24/7 support, which they do through live chat and email. They have teams located in New York, Dublin, and London who are there to help you with that stuff. They have Squarespace Commerce, which is their store platform. It allows anybody to add a store to their Squarespace site. It's what we use for our Relay FM store when we sell our own merchandise. We use Squarespace's Commerce platform to help us out with that. Squarespace has rock-solid fast hosting and so much more. If you want to stretch Squarespace even further, their dev platform is now out of beta and available to everyone. And they've added even more functionality to the platform, allowing you to just take your Squarespace site further than it ever has been able to go before. I know this is something that Stephen takes advantage of for 512 pixels. You can go and sign up for a trial right now with no credit card required and start building your website today by going to squarespace.com. And when you decide to sign up, make sure that you use the offer code WORLD at checkout and you'll get 10% off your first purchase and you'll be showing your support for this show. Thank you so much to Squarespace for helping us out at Relay FM. Squarespace, start here, go anywhere.
So I wanted to update you guys on my status report with trying NewsBlur, the RSS reader, and in the process I wanted to ask you a couple of RSS questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So it turns out that I'm really, really happy with NewsBlur so far, and it's really grown on me in the past week. I've been So what I didn't do last week that I did over the past 7 days is I read the FAQ section on the website, and so I learned a couple of neat tricks that I didn't know, and I started using the training intensively. So on Newsblur you can train the feed reader to hide stories that you don't care about. And you can also do the opposite. You can train the reader to focus on stories and topics that you are interested in. So what I did is I selected a bunch of stuff that I don't care about, like lawsuits, or like when there was some kind of a car show in the past week, like some tech blogs were writing about cars, and I'm no ATP, right? I don't care about this stuff. So I just like I selected some keywords like Ford and Nissan and that kind of stuff I don't want to see. Other topics included Samsung and what else? I think at some point I blocked a keyword for another TV show that I didn't care about. And I also did the opposite with stuff that I like. So I promoted Apple, Google, iPhone, Android, because I still like to be informed about, Android. I promoted Better Call Saul, which is an upcoming TV show.
Yes.
Some video. Yes, I know, right?
Yes, so much yes.
I promoted some video game stuff, so Nintendo, Sony, that kind of keywords. And what it's really nice about Newsblur is that there's a train menu. So every time you're reading an article, you can say, I like this specific author from this website. So, for example, on Six Colors, I can say, I like posts from Jason Snell. So every time there's you recognize an article from Jason Snell, promote that kind of content in the feed reader. Or I can go to Mac Stories, or no, not Mac Stories because it's my own website. That would be creepy. I can go to The Verge and say, if using these tags. So the feed reader is capable of looking into the article tags and say, I want to know more about, I don't know, Nintendo 3DS, but not about the Nintendo Wii U, looking at the tags. Or I can say, I want to know everything from this publisher, so an entire website. Or what's even more impressive is that you can use just text in the article title. You just select text. So, for instance, I selected keywords in the title, like the name of the car show that I don't remember.
The Detroit Auto Show?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, Detroit Auto Show. That was the three words that I selected. And there was other stuff in article titles that I either like or don't like. So there's two buttons that you use. One is hide with the thumbs down, and the other is focus with the thumbs up, using emoji. So Casey would be proud. And basically, I did this like 5 or 6 days ago, and I kept training the reader. So every morning when I wake up, or maybe after a couple of hours that I haven't checked my RSS reader, I go to Newsblur, and there's a at the bottom of the app, there's a tab bar. You can switch from old stories to unread and focus. So focus mode, it's got a green dot, and it shows you every story that you have told the app that it's important to you. So I think this is handy when I go back to Newsblur after a few hours, and I just want to see like what's up in terms of what's cool and new, and just don't give me the stuff that I don't think it's super important to me. I can go there and find the most important stories for me, and I think, and from what I've seen so far, I think the feed training mechanism is really accurate, and it keeps. I think it keeps getting better over time, and at least this is also what the FAQ said. It will get better based on like what you read, what you train the feed reader to do, and it's also capable of not showing you duplicate stories. And the opposite also works as well. I don't want to see certain topics. I will never see those topics again. So that was really nice. I've been using search. I told you guys it was really fast, and in the past week, there's been a couple of times that I needed to find an article again. I used search on the Newsblur app for iPhone and iPad, and it found those topics that I needed to find in the articles like in 2 seconds. That was really impressive and useful. And in general, I've noticed that the app is really fast because it uses this prefetching feature that, like, for instance, just a few minutes ago, I posted my due review on Mac Stories, and like after a minute, it was up on Newsblur because it refresh. Like, I don't know, I think it refreshes the RSS feed. I think it refreshes the RSS feeds like depending on the popularity of a website. I'm not sure, but for Mac Stories it's really fast, and for other websites like The Verge, during Fireball, it's also very fast. So it's probably something like Pocket Casts, like the way how often they refresh certain websites. But in general, it's really fast, and when you refresh the iOS app, all the articles come in like 2 seconds. So I've been really impressed. But I've been thinking about especially the training and the filters. And so what I wanted to ask you after this consideration, because you see how, and I think that Myke knows, especially when we talk on virtual, about like how, like, sometimes I think strange. I think about strange topics, like I go on different tangents, and I end up in weird places with my thoughts. And I mean that Myke knows because of the Minecraft spider. Right?
Yeah,
Myke,
just eat those eyeballs,
yeah.
buddy.
Or the Rogue Legacy stuff. So I've been thinking, like filtering RSS, right? Because I'm treating RSS like basically a file system. So it's a file system for news. So in theory, I should be able to see everything, because a file system, like, for instance, when I open my Finder on my Mac, those few times that I do, I see all my files. Unless I decide to do a search or stuff like that. So instead, I'm treating like RSS in Newsblur like some sort of tweetbot filters, where I select topics that I don't want to see, and that's kind of new to me because I never did this stuff in RSS before. I tried Fever a few years ago, the RSS service that lets you set up your own RSS application on your own server, and it lets you like read topics based on popularity. But that's different because here I'm basically, it's like tweetbot filters. I can select topics and stuff that I don't want to see, and I don't see that stuff again. So is this just me? Because I think this is really new and exciting for me. And like Newsblur is giving me a different perspective on RSS in the post Google Reader age. And I know that RSS is not sexy. I mean that it's something for geeks, right? That there's no, like, there are different services, but they're not really trying to revolutionize RSS. They're just trying to survive, and every once in a while they launch a new feature. And Newsblur, it's really different, and it made me think about RSS and filters and that kind of stuff, and Twitter lists, whether I should be using Twitter lists less because Twitter doesn't care. So I know that, Myke, you told me that you stopped using RSS a while ago.
Yeah, I kind of brought it back, but look, very limited.
Okay.
And I check it maybe once every couple of weeks.
So I wanted to know from Steven first, because he seems to me more of an RSS guy.
Yeah,
in general,
definitely.
Steven, tell me about RSS and the way you use them, because I need to know if I'm alone in this, if maybe it's just some placebo effect that I'm having here because Newsblur is new.
Yeah, I mean, my RSS usage has been really consistent before and after the Google Reader shutdown. I do have a Twitter list that I called RSS is Dead, and that has blogs I follow. A lot of almost every website just tweets headlines as they come out, and I do check that occasionally. I've gotten it to nuzzle some since we've talked about it on the show. Federico introduced me to it, but overall, I still use RSS pretty heavily. Maybe even more so now that I follow more people on Twitter, and Twitter's gotten noisier. So I use Feedbin, and I use Reader and Unread as my clients, and I've got folders in there by topic. And I do have talking about the filtering. I have a little bit of a filter where I have a folder that I always look at everything in there. I call it writers, and it's basically just people who I want to see everything that they publish. And it's guys like you, Federico. And then I've got folders around other topics. So I've got kind of general, nerd news. I've got Apple news, which a couple more high volume Apple news sites, and I don't feel bad about marking those other folders as read if I can't get to them. I don't have a completionist attitude when it comes to RSS. And a lot of times I'll open a folder, especially if it's been several hours or even a day, and just skim the latest couple things. And because I do rely on Twitter to a degree, even though I'm not using Twitter as an RSS replacement, I expect that stories that are popular, like today, that redesign or that art project of the guy made like an iMac out of the front of a classic Mac. Like, a bunch of people tweeted that. A bunch of people tweeted it at me. And so I saw that well before I opened Unread this morning on my iPad. But all in all, like, if you looked at my RSS usage in 2007, looked at it today, it's more or less the same. And there's not a ton of articles in there. I've pared back what I follow in RSS, but it's still a pretty critical part of the way I consume content online.
So what I want to ask you is, how do you, and if you, I'm not sure whether you use it or not, how do you use the feature to mark an article as a favorite and the read later services like Pocket and Instapaper? Because I'm struggling and I'm finding even more overlap between the two. Like, why do I mark an RSS article as favorite if I can just send it to Pocket or Instapaper, especially now that it's so easy with iOS 8 extension?
Yeah, I don't mark anything favorited in RSS. I didn't, and that was a huge thing in Google Reader, and you could like set where if you favorited something in Google Reader, it did a bunch of different things. I never used it then. I don't use it now. If it's something I want to read later, or something that I want to maybe link to later, I'll just send it to Instapaper and deal with it over there. But RSS to me is very binary. Like it's either if it gets in front of me, if I don't just mark it as read, then I'll either skim it there, or if I want to do something with it, it just goes to Instapaper and it gets dealt with elsewhere, not within the RSS app itself.
Yeah, that's what I think I will end up doing again, because I have this habit of marking articles as favorite, because that's what I used to do in Reader and Google Reader years ago. Because I remember there was some kind of social component at some point for the favorite feature. So I think out of habit, I still give a star to articles. But I realized that I can just save them to Pocket and just because either I want to read them or I want to archive them for the future. So I think I want in Newsblur they are called the saved articles. So it's basically the same system. And I wanted to ask you also, and then I will move my questioning to Myke. Are you prepared, Myke?
Well, yeah, you're not going to get much out of me, but
this is like an interview, like from like the police when they interview people. Yeah, whoa. I have a lamp on my desk, and I will. Yeah. So, Steven, do you use the search feature of RSS ever? Do you search for old articles for some reason, or do you just use Google?
Just Google. I mean, I don't use search in RSS. If there's an article that I've read and maybe if I Instapapered it, it's in Pinboard. So the first, say that Federico, I was actually just looking at just earlier today your Q4 2014 results post, and so I just searched Google and found it. But sometimes if something's more obscure, maybe I send it to Pinboard. Everything I go Instapaper goes to Pinboard. So I look there as well. I don't use search. I don't even know how search is in Feedbin because I've just never touched it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's really why should I use RSS search instead of Google search? There were a couple of scenarios for me that I knew that I found an article in RSS, and I remember the title, and Newsblur gave me that feed article again. But in general, I think I just use Google. Myke, why are you coming back to RSS?
Just because that there are some blogs and sites where I want to make sure that I don't miss things. And that tends to just be blogs from people that I enjoy, because I get most of the stuff that I need to know from from Twitter. I mean, I subscribe to The Verge and Polygon in my RSS reader, but that's only if I'm reading RSS and I want something to read and I'm done with everything else. Other than that, I just mark those as read all the time because I've just gone in and done now. But I only subscribe to 15 RSS feeds now, and it's mainly just from the blogs of friends. And what I find most of the time is I'm go in here like I am right now and clearing it out, just like marking everything as read pretty much, because it's been weeks since I looked last, and I kind of just go in every now and then if I want something to read, and there's always stuff in there from the people's sites that I like, and I use Twitter for most of the stuff that I need. I follow a lot of people. If there are big things happening, I find out about them that way. And I also follow the Twitter accounts of a lot of blogs and sites that I enjoy. But I don't use lists.
Thank you. Okay.
Because I don't want multiple timelines to have to look through. I already
so
follow
it's just
enough
in
people.
your regular timeline, and if you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I use this Tweetbot, so it's got timeline sync, so it never misses tweets.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
never miss them tweets, boy, because I got my iCloud syncing.
My hide. Wow.
Well, you use iCloud instead of Tweetmarker?
Yeah, because I like the syncing of DM read notifications and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, same here.
So, in general, to conclude, I think of course, I'm sticking to NewsBlur at the moment because I'm really curious about this. It's made by a single guy, indie developer. It's the kind of story that I like.
Someone has to feed his dog,
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, there's the dog picture, which was awesome. So yeah, I'm trying NewsBlur, and I mean, at this point, I have a membership to the 3 popular RSS services because I am a Feedly Pro lifetime member. I pay for Feed Wrangler because, I mean, David Smith is awesome. And there's NewsBlur. So I think I want to try Fitbin like in the next couple of months. But first, just to have an idea, I like having opinions about everything. So I can opinionate with people. About opinions.
We love it. We love it when you opinionate.
I think that's really important to have opinions and posits these days.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, RSS is one of those things that, when Google Reader went away, a lot of people said that RSS was going to die. But especially if you lump podcasting into the mix, because like podcasting runs on the back of RSS. Like RSS is fine, and there's all these services like the ones you just listed. There's a dozen more good ones. I definitely still think there's a place for it in this world. I think things like NewsBlur, adding features on top of it, I think is where the excitement is happening. So yeah, it's good stuff.
That just about wraps up this week's episode of Connected. If you'd like to find the show notes for this week's show, go to relay.fm/connected/22. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I am at iMyke, IMYKE. Federico is at Viticci, BITICCI. And Stephen is at ISMH. Stephen writes the great 512pixels.net, and Federico writes the also great macstories.net. We'll be back next week with another episode of the show. Thanks again to our sponsors this week, Squarespace, Igloo, and Linda, and thank you for listening. Until then, bye-bye.
Arrivederci.
Adios.